That feeling you've had before, when everything was lined up perfectly, and then it all fell apart. Frustration creeps in. Guilt whispers, why can't you just keep going? You watch others move forward while you feel stuck. By the end of this video, you won't just feel motivated again. You'll know exactly how to act, even when motivation's gone. This isn't just another motivational speech. This video will change how you think about success. You've felt what it's like to lose momentum, to get stuck chasing motivation that fades too fast. Here, you'll discover how to build something stronger, discipline that doesn't quit no matter what. Imagine rewiring your mind to act even when you don't feel like it. By shifting from chasing feelings to shaping your identity, you'll unlock a new way forward. If you've wondered why some people succeed while others don't, it's because they've learned this secret. Stay with me, and in the next 15 minutes, you'll gain tools to stop depending on motivation and start creating unstoppable progress. The motivation myth. There are two very different approaches people take when they chase their goals. Let me introduce you to Chris and Alex. Chris waits for the motivation, the perfect mood, that electric spark that makes him feel unstoppable. He watches the sunrise, drinks his coffee, scrolls through inspiring quotes, and sets big hopes for the day. But what happens when that feeling fades? When life hits back with stress, distractions, or doubt? Chris freezes. He loses momentum. His plans crumble. Now, meet Alex. Alex isn't waiting. Ever. He doesn't wait for the spark or the perfect mood. He shows up day after day, even when tired, uninspired, or doubting himself. Alex acts because it's part of who he is, not because of how he feels, but because of his identity. Why the stark difference? Why does Chris burn out and Alex keeps moving forward? Motivation is like firework, dazzling, bright, but short-lived. It bursts, delights, then it's gone, leaving darkness behind. Chris's success depends on catching that firework every single day. But what if he misses it? What if the sky is cloudy or the firework never comes? Chris knows the answer too well. He fails because he counted on something fleeting. Here's the truth you need. Motivation is temporary. It's unreliable, fragile fuel. No one can sprint on motivation alone, especially when the race gets tough. Now think about Alex's engine. Steady, silent, built to last. That's discipline, the slow-burning coal that keeps the fire alive long after the spark dies. Discipline doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It pushes through resistance, boredom, and setbacks. So, why does culture glorify motivation and not discipline? Maybe because motivation sounds more exciting, a burst of emotion rather than cold, hard work. But success isn't about excitement. It's about consistency. So the question to ask is this: why do some people succeed despite their doubts and fears? Why do others falter even with all the motivation in the world? The answer lies in what they depend on. Motivation is a starter engine. Discipline is the fuel. You've been chasing the wrong thing all along. The motivation myth traps you in a cycle of highs and crashes. Let go of it. Act from identity. Imagine that inside you there's a switch. Not a button, but a switch that controls everything you do. Most people flip it only when they feel like it. When the mood is right, when motivation is high, when the stars align. But what if your default setting, who you truly believe yourself to be, was always switched on, no matter the moment or mood? This is the shift from acting on emotion to acting on identity. Your actions flow naturally when they're rooted in your core self, not your feelings. Think about it. When you say, "I am someone who trains every day," training isn't a choice based on how you feel. It becomes automatic, part of your story. Identity is more than belief. It's your internal compass. Where motivation fades with every crack or storm, identity stays steady like a lighthouse. So, what if you could rewire your identity? What if you could program your mind to see yourself as disciplined, focused, and relentless? Every action you take reinforces this self-image, strengthening it like muscle. The habits you build shape your identity, but your identity also shapes your habits. It's a feedback loop. If motivation falls, identity lifts. If desire wanes, identity drives. This means discipline isn't something you do only when you're motivated, it's who you are becoming. And this transformation is possible for anyone willing to commit to building it day by day. But let's be honest, identity isn't perfect or fixed. It shifts, grows, and requires constant training. You won't wake up tomorrow feeling different without action. You have to show up repeatedly to become who you want to be. What if every choice you made was a vote for the person you want to become? Every time you hesitate, ask yourself, am I acting as someone who follows through or someone who gives up? It's not about perfection. It's about leaning into the discomfort of growth because identity is forged there. Now, imagine you're no longer a slave to how you feel. You're a person on a mission, defined by your values and actions, not moods. This mental model is your path to freedom. Because when motivation fails, identity holds the line. So the real question isn't how to get motivated, it's how to become someone who doesn't need motivation to succeed. The 5-second rule, tactical layer. Here's a simple tool you can use the moment hesitation threatens to stop you. It's called the 5-second rule, and it's surprisingly powerful. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal or task, count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then move. Don't let your brain convince you to delay, doubt, or overthink. Just act. Why does this work? Your brain naturally defaults to comfort and safety. When you hesitate, your mind triggers a warning. Stay safe, don't change. But counting down interrupts this autopilot. It gives your conscious mind a brief window to shift gears from hesitation to action. Neurologically, it interrupts negative thought loops and primes your brain for movement. This gives you a critical edge over procrastination and fear. Think about moments when you've stood still, paralyzed by choice or doubt. The 5-second rule breaks those moments into manageable bursts of decisive action. Use it before getting out of bed, starting your workout, making a difficult call, or tackling that tough project. Yes, it sounds almost too simple, almost silly, but the magic is in the doing, not the thinking. Every time you move before your brain talks you out of it, you train your mind to switch from hesitation to momentum. With practice, this rule rewires your brain chemistry, reducing your resistance to discomfort. Imagine your brain no longer holding you back, but pushing you forward. That's the power of the 5-second rule, a tactical shortcut to building discipline and confidence. The next time you feel stuck, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. You'll be surprised at how many times you'll break free of the hesitation trap. Pain versus pleasure, the true decision engine. We're wired for comfort. Our brains crave pleasure and avoid pain. It's survival. It's biology. But in modern life, this wiring can trap us. Short-term pleasure often leads to long-term pain, overindulging, procrastinating, avoiding hard work. We chase easy wins, scrolling social media, staying in our comfort zones. But growth is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is progress. Pain, discomfort, struggle, these are the paths that lead to real change. So why do we avoid them? Because pain feels bad, and the brain wants to protect you. But what if the problem is just how we label pain? What if pain wasn't a warning sign, but a signal for growth? What if you could flip the script and start seeing discomfort as pleasure, as the mark of progress? This mental reframe is powerful. It changes the way you approach challenges. Instead of shrinking from pain, you lean into it. Here's a personal truth. I've fallen for the easy path more times than I can count. I've chosen comfort over growth, regretted it deeply. But every time I leaned into the hard things, I grew stronger, not just physically, but mentally. Pain is the true engine of decision-making. It controls whether we take action or hide. When you learn to relabel pain, to see it as the bridge to your future self, you unlock a new force. Imagine pain as the path to your goals, not the enemy. When discomfort becomes the ally, your whole mindset shifts. This is tough love, no sugarcoating, but honesty keeps you growing. The next time you feel resistance, ask, is this pain my enemy or my signal to rise? When you answer that truthfully, you'll start to take control of your choices and transform pain into pleasure on the road to success. Tiny wins build iron discipline. Big transformations feel exciting, but they're rare. Most change happens quietly, through tiny wins, small actions repeated daily that build unstoppable momentum. If you wait for motivation, you're waiting for a flood that might never come. Instead, create rain. Steady, consistent drops of progress that fill your life. Imagine 5 minutes a day spent on your goal. Just 5. Over time, those minutes compound into a new you. Your brain rewires itself, habits form, and identity shifts. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough to change your life. You need repeatable, manageable steps. Maybe it's one push-up, one page written, one healthy meal. Small doesn't mean easy, though. Taking even tiny steps can feel hard sometimes. Resistance still shows up. But every action, no matter how small, is proof you're moving forward. With every tiny win, you're reinforcing your identity as someone who follows through. This is the power of compounding. Like interest in a bank, progress grows more valuable with time. What if your brain could shift from seeking shortcuts to rewarding persistence? What if those 5 minutes become 10, then 20, then a habit you don't question? Starting small breaks the illusion that transformation requires massive change. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Hope grows from showing up. Belief blossoms from evidence. So today, don't wait for the perfect time or mood. Take the smallest step forward, and then take another tomorrow. These tiny wins build iron discipline, one day at a time, until nothing can stop you. Be your coach, not your critic. Growth isn't about beating yourself up. It's about learning, evolving, and caring for yourself through the process. It's okay to fail. You're human. You're learning. Failure isn't proof you're weak. It's feedback, an essential part of the journey. When you stumble, don't punish yourself. Instead, pause, reflect, adjust. Then try again with kindness towards yourself. Self-compassion is not weakness, it's strength. It fuels endurance and helps you stay committed longer. Imagine being your own coach, the one who encourages, forgives, and pushes gently when needed. This inner coach understands that setbacks are part of growth, not a reason to quit. You're not meant to be perfect, just persistent. Relapse or slip-ups don't erase progress. They highlight where you need to refocus. Kindness towards yourself rewires your brain to keep taking action, even through tough moments. What if kindness was your best growth strategy? Instead of harsh criticism, offer understanding. Instead of guilt, offer patience. This shift creates a sustainable path forward. As you befriend your inner guide, discipline becomes less about force and more about love for your future self. Remember, you are building lifelong habits. This takes time and patience. You will fall, and you will rise stronger each time. Drop the armor of harsh judgment. Embrace vulnerability. It's where real growth begins. You are learning, evolving, becoming. So treat yourself with the care you deserve and watch how far you can go. The deathbed test, the final push. Close your eyes and imagine your final moments. What will matter most when your life comes to an end? Will it be the comfort you clung to or the person you became? Regret often stems from unspent potential and avoided challenges. You have the time right now, the only time you truly own. Ask yourself, if today were your last day, would you choose comfort or action? Legacy isn't written on easy days, but forged in moments of courage and sacrifice. Reconnecting with your why, the core reason behind your goals, can push you past fatigue and doubt. This perspective brings clarity and urgency, reminding you that time is limited and precious. As you face life's ultimate test, consider what story you want to leave behind. Choose to become the person who rises, pushes through, and leaves a meaningful legacy. Because in the end, what you did, who you touched, and the strength you showed will be what truly matters. Now it's your turn. Take the first step before hesitation creeps in. Subscribe, join the challenge, or simply commit to one small action today. Remember, discipline is built one choice at a time. Don't wait for motivation. Become unstoppable now.